Hey, Professor Pesa, I've decided to go with the video option for the reflection and the artifacts, and so I'll get right into it. So, my first artifact that I really appreciated was the bibliography for the ameliorative essay. This really allowed me to go and research before I did anything else. It forced me to go and find good res- uh, sources, scholarly sources, and good popular sources. And it forced me to research before doing anything else, which is something I've always lacked in doing. I've always thought about putting something on the paper first and trying to find something to agree with it. And I came to realize that you need to go and research first, and that definitely helped change my writing for the better. Another artifact that was great and excellent was the outline. Because I had been used to some outlines in high school, but just like earlier when I was stated, I'd always done those first and just thrown a whole bunch of ideas on there where I want to take the paper. And this time I learned that with the research of the bibliography, it became much easier to construct the layout for the entire paper because you had already done all this important research. You have your scholarly sources and everything, and the outline is there to help you restructure the whole paper and get a general idea of how you want to flow. And then another artifact that I found really helpful was the peer reviews. Even though we kind of had to mix up the first one and I just got one on one with you, it was still excellent. I got to hear exactly what I needed to do with the paper, and it really helped me think about what I needed to do in my writing process. Then the second one, meeting with everybody, all the peers, was very helpful because I heard things from my peers and little things they saw that maybe someone else might not have seen, or because they think a certain way, they could see different things that may have overlooked, pardon me, and gone over, and they can catch that, and I can return the favor by going through their papers and helping them out and finding things that I might be a little confused by, or I might be like, hey, this might look better than this, but yada yada yada. It was still really helpful. Then one thing out of class that I did, and an artifact that really helped my writing, was the construction of the argument for the uh, sorry, was learning how to construct an argument outside of class, or how to prove your point, and basically going out into the library and realizing that when arguing for something into a paper, it's not good enough to just put down what you want and why you think it is. You have to put down your opposition's view, and you have to be able to push their views out there and say what they think, and then you need to go through and rebuttal all of their statements with why you think your idea is better. And that really helped me with a couple papers and slow writes, because before in high school, my argumentative essays were just, this is better because of X, Y, and Z, instead of stating the other person's views, in ABC, and why the rebuttal to ABC is so. So that was really helpful. And then another fun thing, artifact that I kind of enjoyed was the Wildcat Writers. I know it was unfortunate. It kind of fell through towards the end of the semester. I know I was working with someone who, gets off of school in May forever for another job, and it was difficult to orchestrate between the two groups. But it was still really fun, and it was really cool to actually go and talk to like these 16 and 17-year olds and like see how they write, and it really reminds you of like how you used to be. And we're not that far apart, really, so it's you could still help them out with their papers, and believe it or not, they could actually come through and say a couple things that could help you. And so it benefited all parties involved, and I really hope going forward that you're able to continue to run that program, because I think it's an excellent thing for the college students and the high school students. Then the sixth thing, the peer review, is Seth's information about my paper. I feel like out of all my peers, really helped me the most to push my paper to be much more articulate and very specific instead of just like a broad generalization. And I really appreciate Seth for that. It was really great and helped me dive deeper into the paper. All right, and now on to the reflection questions. And it said, name a challenge you exhibited in English 102, and what strategies did you use to grow from that as a writer, and how do you handle these situations now? So a challenge I found was writer's block. Which is I just can't find a way to get from mind to put to pen to paper. So one thing that really helped was the outline and bibliography. because I could just go through and I could write some general ideas down, and then just by putting your first foot out the door, by doing that, it becomes much easier to continue to write and like keep walking with it and to keep it flowing. A lot of times in high school, I would just sit there and stare at a blank page for like 15 minutes, and I would just get up and walk away, and I'd be like, well, hopefully something comes through. But now I know that's really not how it works, and I'm really glad that I found a way to kind of help me get out of writer's block, and I'm going to continue to use that forever. And the second question, being able to look back on the semester, what do you feel you could have done differently to have more success? Probably communicate with you better at the beginning of the semester, but that's on me. Um, but I would say definitely the ameliorative essay. I think if I could go back and kind of shake myself a little bit and be like, hey, take this one a little bit more seriously than everything else, you could really learn a lot from it. And that's not to dig on any of the other projects, but I feel like the ameliorative essay was really important because it just taught you how to like expand upon an idea. And at first I was confused by it, but I ended up working through it and ended up figuring it out, thankfully to your help and the peers' help. Um, but that would something I feel like probably would help me a little bit if I could go back and just be like, hey, focus up a little bit more on this ameliorative essay. Just really sync what it and what other people are saying, especially the professor. So thank you. It's been a pleasure. I hope you have a great summer.